Okay, Thursday. So we're going to do actually the last part of the Parashat Toldot Yitzchak from the Netivot Shalom, and it is ויתן לך האלוקים. So toward the end, Yitzchak was blessing his firstborn, Esav, which was actually not the firstborn. It was Yaakov, right? But Yaakov was tricking him together with his mother. Eventually, what was supposed to be happened, and that's the way that it was supposed to be. So, ויתן לך אלוקים איתה לשמיים ומשמני הארץ ורוב דגן ותירוי. So, the pasuk that Yitzchak gave, Yaakov, was that Hashem will give you from the dew from heaven, and mishmane, it's like the oil or the fatty things of the land, and the wheat and grapes, right? So, our sages in Midrash Rabbah, ויתן לך, so what does it mean? And he will give you. Yiten v'yachzor v'yiten. It's like giving and giving and giving again. So he said, v'kasheh, it's like a question. דמה שייך אצל הקדוש ברוך הוא ייתן ויחזור וייתן. Like he's giving you, he returning, and then he's giving you. So he said, bishlema basar v'dam. Okay, I understand about flesh and blood that is limited, right? Flesh and blood is limited. So
what does it mean flesh and blood is limited? Say that again?
You have a boundaries to your capabilities of giving. For example,
oh, okay, I got it.
You can give me maybe $1 million, but that's it. You are limited. You cannot give me 1,000,002.
Right.
But Hashem can give anything that He wants, right? No, and no quotas, right? No quantities, no boundaries.
Yeah.
No limits to Hashem, and He can, right? And the flesh and blood cannot give like everything in once, but Hashem can give in one time with no limits. So what does it mean? What does it mean when it says "Yiten v'yachzor v'yiten"? That Hashem will give, and like He will give again, and He will give again. He can give everything in one time. And also the essence, the meaning of the brachot that Yitzchak was blessing, right? We need to explain why the bracha is on materialistic things. It's on gashmiut and not in spiritualism, which this is the main thing. Be close to Hashem. You know, I bless all of us that we will be closer to Hashem, that will have the knowledge like Moshe Rabbeinu and ability to speak to Hashem like Moshe. So why here Yitzchak was giving a brachot about fat things of the land, oil, food, wheat, grapes, etc. Right? Also, we need to learn why in the bracha, when Yitzchak was blessing Yaakov, when he thought that it was Esav, right? It says, ויתן לך האלוקים, that Hashem will give you. But the blessing to Esav, later on, it says, משמני הארץ מושבך, like you will dwell in good places, but not Hashem name, it's not mentioned over there. ויש לומר העניין, and we also should say, according to what it says in the Monday Torah Midrash, ויתן לך האלוקים, ויתן לך אלוקותא, like he will give you divine things. So, ואית בספרים הקדושים, he says, the meaning, what does it mean? That the blessing of Yitzchak, the first thing was, ויתן לך אלוקותא, that, yes, it seems to be like we're talking about materialistic things, but no. ויתן לך אלוקים, that you will be cleaving to Hashem. That's the bracha. ויתן לך, that you will be cleaving to Hashem. You will be stick to Hashem. And that's the main purpose, right, of all the Taryag mitzvot, all the 613 mitzvot that we have. As it says in the Holy Book, right, that this mitzvot that we have, and the mitzvah is from letzavot, like to attach us together, right? So these are like advices or means or think that if we will do them, then we will get closer to Hashem. And that's the purpose, that's the tachlit, right? That we should cleave to Hashem. And this is what He actually give him, the first blessing, ויתן לך אלוקים, that you will have Hashem with you always, תמיד. בבחינת שיוויתי Hashem נגדי תמיד. We always need to imagine that Hashem is in front of us, right? And therefore it says Elokim and not Shem Havaya. So Elokim, again, is the name of judgment, dinim, right, or strength, and not Havaya. It should be, actually, you know, the Shem Havaya will in front of you, but no, why Elokuto? Because we always need to assume or to imagine that Hashem is in front of us and to have a fear. And then from the fear, we'll get to love Hashem. So, and what does it mean? עניין ויתן לך האלוקים איתה לשמיים ושמני הארץ. Again, גשמיות, right? The dew from heaven and the fat of the land. So he said that Hashem will give you all the עניינים הגשמיים הנכללים that are all included in the dew that's coming from heaven, right? It sounds like maybe something spiritually because it's coming from Shamayim, and the fat of the land. This is maybe the Gashmiut. Well, he said here it's more profound, that he should do all of this Gashmiut thing, all the materialistic thing, he should mechaven, have a kavana for Shem Shamayim. And he can use and utilize all the brachot, the Gashmiot, for the Shem Shamayim. In order for Hashem. He says it's already hinted, right? The Ramchal Katav, Berish Mesilat Yesharim, that what is the purpose of a Jew, what is my main job and his obligation in his world, to be cleaving to Hashem and to enjoy, right, and to have pleasure from Hashem. ושמו הקדוש ברוך הוא לאדם במקום שרבים בו המרחיקים אותו מברך. But, however, right, we wish to be in heaven and be there in Gan Eden with Hashem. But Hashem put us here in this world, right? We're struggling, mundane life. Every day is a struggle, right? Small one, a big one, whatever, right? So, but Hashem put us here in this world, and in this world we have so many things that keep us away from Hashem, which is the all the materialistic thing. We have to go to work, we have to pay the bill, and the desire that we have, and whatever we wish for, right? That is on the Gashmiut level. And we're dwelling here in this world, and all of these things are keeping us away from Hashem. So this is the blessing of Yitzchak. Viten lecha elekuta. Hashem will give you this divine thing, the spiritual thing that, and what's the advice? That we should not get away or distance from Hashem because He put us here in this world with all of the things that actually keeping us away, that we should plant or insert Hashem in all situation, all condition, in everything. In all this, in Olam Hazeh. I wish I will have a Ferrari, because with the Ferrari, if I need to drive a Rav to a certain place, I can do it very quickly and we're not mevatel Torah. Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. I wish I would have a private jet. So again, I don't need to stand in line, so I will learn more Torah. You see, this is how we should think. Right? You said you need to put everything in perspective, which is cleaving to Hashem and how it will help us to get closer. Because he says, כי כל אלו הדברים המרחיקים, all of these things that keep us away, הרי בעצם הם, it's like the Baal Shem Tov HaKadosh, that he's telling us that, אין רע יורד משמיים, nothing bad coming from heaven. אלא, but, כל ענייני אהבה, all the things that are related to love, and the Gashmiut, and the things that are, again, materialistic, are giving to us in order for a Jew to elevate them for Hashem. And then, naturally, or by default, then it becomes for his benefit. שאינם דברים המרחיקים, אלא דברים הקרבים אותו, right? We can suddenly look at this thing that it's not keeping us away from Hashem, but they're actually giving us the ability to get closer. Because when a Jew is overcoming and conquering his desires and all the things that keep us away, then that he will elevate everything to Hashem, and then we will have this bracha, ויתן לך אלוקותה, that Hashem will give us this divine thing, spiritual thing, even in the Gashmiut. And he says in the Sfarim HaKadoshim, על הפסוק, מספר בכתב עמים, she said that Hashem, I don't know if allegedly it's the one, or seems to be, or כביכול, סופר את המעשים על דרך שכותבים בכתב של חשבון הנקרא כתב עמים. He said like Hashem is counting the deeds like the same way that you're having, and I think yeah, Lee is here, the way that the accountant writing the, the statement, right, the bank statement. So he said, I can write many zeros as I want, but many zero express nothing. But if I put before the zero, all the zeros that I have, even one digit, right? Yes, Lee, I see it, right? If I write like 6 zeros and then 1 on the left side, right? You will get to my weekly salary in rupees, right? So he said, so only 0 have no value, right? It means that if a Jew is doing action like zeros, like 0, which don't have value, but if at the beginning of what he's doing, a physical thing that he's doing, I'm not talking about mitzvot, right? Eating, drinking, working, whatever we do, buying a shirt, buying a suit. But if before we're doing that, we have a kavanah that we're doing it to Hashem, then everything becomes suddenly with the value, right? The terminology, right? You said that we need to have a kavana at the beginning of our action, right? As we're singing tomorrow, Bezrat Hashem in Lecha Dodi, we sing Sof Ma'aseh, right? The end of our action. You need to have a thought first, right? Sof Ma'aseh b'machshava tchila, right? You need to think about it, right? And he says, אז אפילו אם אחר כך, right? So, אם במשך פעולתו שוב אינו בדרגה זו, מעלה מחשבתו הראשונה את הכל. So let's say that we're thinking about something that we're doing it for שם שמיים, but later on we forget and we're being sunk into that whatever pleasure that we do, physical thing. But at the beginning we thought about it for שם שמיים. But okay, that's still a good thing because at the beginning we're having a kavana for Hashem. And then Hashem will put it in the book. And then like all the zeros of the thing that we did will be elevated. And that was the main bracha of Yitzchak, Viten lecha elkuta. So we just look at it as Hashem will give you dew, fat land, etc. I said, no, Hashem will give you, that's the bracha, Hashem, right? And that's also the purpose or the essence of our slavery to Hashem. And that's the purpose and the path in all ענייני העולם הזה, everything that to do with this world. כי דהית בתורת אבות על הפסוק, right? השם אלוקיך עמך, לא חסרת דבר. Hashem with us, as long as we have Hashem with us, we are not lacking a thing. לכן פירשו הפסוק, כי יצחק ואלוקים עמך, right? I give you the advice that Hashem will be with you. That's the advice. That Hashem always, don't forget about Hashem. We should not forget about Hashem, no matter what's happening. Even if we see that the world is upside down and everything, you know, is turbulent and a hurricane and everything, fine. The decoration is keep changing, but Hashem is always with us. He says, "Ubracha zo shayechet bemet rak leYaakov." So that's why we started with the first question: how come that Yitzchak giving a brachot to Yaakov, which are all physical? He said, "No, it is really related to Yaakov because we have Hashem over there, and we need to elevate everything. And therefore, Etzel Esav only says you will dwell in the fat land and everything. That will be your dwelling place, but it doesn't say Elokim. Why? Right? Because Yitzchak, when he realized what's happening, when Esav came, he said, "Oh, Father, bless me," right? "Oh, Father, bless me because I sinned," right? so Yitzchak said, "Oops. So who was before you?" And then Yitzchak saw a Gehenom, like an open hell below him. So then he realized that this bracha actually has no relevancy to Ishmael, right? To Esav. וכן בברכות של יעקב כתיב, and also in the brachot it says, בתחילה מיטה לשמיים, the beginning the dew from heaven, right? And then the fat of the land. So he said in the ספרים הקדושים, שתל, dew in Hebrew, tet lamed, right? בגימטריה, הוויה אחד, like a שם אחד, right? That this is also an indication about loving Hashem. But אצל עשיו נאמר בתחילה, at the beginning it says the fat of the land will be your dwelling place, and only after that it says the dew, because
what did the pit from hell have to do with? Yitzchak saw the pit from hell, and then he thought what?
Then he realized that Esav, because originally he wanted to give Esav this brachot.
Yeah.
So when the first person came to him, he smelled the smell of Gan Eden, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So if there is Gan Eden...
So that he knew that was right. Okay, so he felt that was good. Okay.
Yeah, and then Esav came, and then he said, "Oh, just a second, what happened here? So who was before you? Oh, now I understand." And then suddenly he felt like he saw the pit of hell. And he said, "Oops, I already made a mistake. The brachot that I gave Yaakov, that was supposed to be him. But now I understand what's happening with Esav. So Esav have no relevancy to Hashem, to that matter, because for him, achomriyut yikar. Yaakov is more spiritual level, and Esav is more on the gashmiut. We learned before that when it says that Yitzchak loved Esav and Rivka loving Yaakov, because Yitzchak knew that Esav is not a righteous person, but he thought that the way he is, he will be able to fix the world. So that's why he loved him. Of course he loved Yaakov, but his love was on the level of, oh, I know that he is my son, I need to focus on Esav because he's going to fix the world. But then later on, he found out that it's not true. So that's why he gave him brachot, because after all, his son, he's loving and everything. So he gave him brachot. But with him, he gave him first on the physical level, not spiritual, because physicality was the first thing for him with Esav, right? Yaakov is more on the spiritual. ועוד יש בזה, and also furthermore it says, בבחינת גבוה מהגבוה, higher than higher, in the עשה טוב, כמו שכתב המחל במסיעת ישרים, right, the do good, that we have two levels. We have tahara and we have kedusha, right? Tahara, it's a technicality. You're keeping yourself away from touching corpse, dead bodies, tumot, right, and everything. Then you're tahor. You're clean. You're spiritually clean, right? Tahara, it says it's only shlilat. How you say shlilat in English? Like it's a negative. It's on the negative thing. You need to be careful from not doing something or touching something or eating something, right? So you be careful, right? Shlilat tuma. You're negativing the impurity because you're being careful from the tuma. But the gedusha is a higher level than that. Because dusha, we actually need to work for it. We need to do things for being kadosh, to be separated. And he said the inyanim agashmim, all the physical things themselves, this is serving Hashem, right? Avodat Hashem etzel HaKadosh, because the holy person, you know, in my life, I cannot say that I'm a friend of, but I met, you know, few gedolim, and you don't speak with them about the weather or politics, you know, they don't, right? All they do is Torah, and if they speak, then probably there is a reason why they say speaking or doing that. So they will never do something which have no purpose to it, good purpose, right? To say that person that do everything and is doing it only to Hashem levado, then he became like an altar, like a mizbeach and the kodesh HaKodashim. When you bring all the korbanot, all the sacrifices to Hashem, and also his gashmiut things, everything will be like sacrifices, right? And this is also included in the bracha, Vitan lecha elekuta, Vitan lecha Elokim, right? That's the higher level of the Gedusha, which not only the beginning or whatever he's starting to do is to Hashem, but every action that he do is to Hashem itself. Upiresh. And now we explain what is this iten veyachzor veiten, that we say that Hashem can give, right? In one time, he can give everything with no limit. So he said, these things are actually in levels, in the higher level of the bchinat aseh tov, to do good. כדאית בספר הקדוש מאור עיניים, he says, והנה מקור עבודת השם ידעת. So the source that we have, our source for avodat Hashem is the da'at, the wisdom, right, that we have. כמאן דכתוב, right, דע את אלוקי אביך ועבדהו, like we should know Hashem, the God of our father, and serve him. So he said the da'at is also the source for the pleasure. And when a Jew have an הרחבת הדעת ומוחין דגדלות, אז יש לו התענוג האמיתי בעבודת השם. You know, I don't remember where exactly it is mentioned, but it says, what is a great simcha? Hatarat asfekot, like resolving all the doubts that you have. If you have clarity, you don't have doubts, you're really happy. It's like it's archava, you feel like very expanded. Your wisdom is expanded when you don't have doubts, right? So say that's the source of knowing Hashem and serving Hashem, and that's a real pleasure in serving Hashem, because you really understand what we're doing, right? אך נודע שתענוג תמידי אינו תעמוד, right? So we said that
when you say doubts, doubts in Hashem,
doubts in anything, you know, you need to do a mitzvah, to wake up in the morning, and I don't know, to do something that it looks crazy to you, like why are we doing it? Okay, the chachamim, they put a fence, they put here. If you will have all the answer when you really understand the meaning, and when you're doing something that seems to be silly, yeah, chas v'chalila, but you understand what you're doing, believe me, you will be very happy to do it, right? Because you understand, you know, I don't understand sometimes, you know, why I need to walk with this lulav and shake it here and shake it there and everything. Yes, I learned about, you know, that besides the fact that we were commanded from the Torah to take it, And when you shake it to the directions, you know, all the direction, all the dimension and everything, you bring a good thing. But if you really know, you know in your brain that what you do have a really an impact on something, then you will run to do it with great happiness, right? That's it. Simple. Simple, right? So he said, אז יש לו התענוג אמיתי. Then we have a real pleasure in עבודת השם. אך נודע, but it's known that a constant pleasure אינו תענוג. Like pleasure all the time, right? Like chocolate. I love chocolate, but after, you know, 5-6 packs of chocolate, you want to vomit. It's not a pleasure anymore. So therefore, what they do, then sometimes from heaven, they took away our wisdom. And then we feel, oops, what's going on? I have doubts, I'm lacking something, right? Instead, that's a real chesed from heaven. Because then we need to put more effort and to work on it more. And then we'll have another level, right? Again, life is a video game. You finish one phase, you go to the second one, and it's harder and harder and harder until we die, right? We said that's called gadlut sheni, like a second great thing. That after a break, we're getting higher and higher. And this is the meaning now of iten v'yachzor v'iten, that Hashem give, and then it's returning. So it's not like he's giving again, but it's like he's taking from you, and then he's giving you again. Right? And when a Jew have istalkut adat, the brain, the sechel is like, Harvey sometimes used to say that it's important to keep an open mind, but not too open so it will not fall on the floor, right? So sometimes we feel like this, like we don't understand what's going on. It's a chesed from Hashem, because then we can be elevated. And this is, we learn it from the pasuk, והאלוקים ניסה את אברהם, Hashem tested Avraham. So who adher נתת ליראיך נס להתנוסס, right? You give him like a flag. A nes, a miracle is a flag. Also nisayon is something that it's waved up in the air. And all of these things, right? In כדי לנסותן ולגדלן כנס זה של הספינה, it's like to elevate us like the, how you say, the sheep have a toren, mast, M-U-S-T, I think, a mast when you put the sails, right? It's very high in the air. והוא כדאית בספרים הקדושים, שבשעה שהאלוקים ניסה את אברהם, right? So we learned that a few weeks ago, that when Hashem tested Avraham, he took everything that Avraham has, all his level, and now let's see how you're dealing with it. And by doing that, נתת ליראיך נס, so then it will actually was like a flag that when he's doing, when Avraham was really trying to not to fail in the nisayon, and he passed that, only from what he has at the time without his level, then he became very, very, you know, elevated, higher, like a flag. And according to that, ועל דרך זה יש לומר עוד משמעות, we can say another explanation about ייתן ויחזור וייתן. Hashem give and he take back and then he give you again. Now we learn what is עשה טוב, to do good. Now we said in the opposite, סור מרע, detach yourself from the bad thing. ועל דרך מאמר חז"ל, our sages are saying, right? Hashem, right? Hashem קודם שיחטא, והשם לאחר שיחטא. Like Hashem is before we do a sin, חס וחלילה, and Hashem is still after we do the sin. Nothing changed from Hashem, right? וזהו ייתן ויחזור וייתן, that Hashem will give you his divineness or spiritual thing before the sin, and also he will give you that back after you sin. So even after the sin, a Jew should not feel that he is disconnected from Hashem, because Bali dach ven lidach, right? Hashem doesn't want to leave anyone behind. Is our Saba Kadosh, right? Maran HaKadosh Mikufrin, Zchuto Yageh Elenu, he said that a Jew that did a severe sin, Rachmana litzlan. So, and after that, he could not stand and daven in front of Hashem and ask for forgiveness, then he didn't put his foot on the doorstep of Hasidut. And then he continued and he said, also not on the doorstep of Judaism. He didn't step. Because the Jew should know that after he sinned, whatever he did, he should and he can stand and daven to Hashem, pour his heart, and ask for forgiveness and for atonement, right? For kapara. And he says, V'zoi tachlit avodat Hashem. That's the main thing, right? Because we can say to ourselves, at least I'm saying to myself, that I'm not going to do something and I do it again. And then I swear that I'm not going to do it 1 day, 2 days, 2 weeks, whatever, 2 years, and then I do it again. That's our life, right? We need to work for it, and we need to ask for forgiveness. That's why Hashem put us here, right? That we should be able to daven and pour our heart, and that's the main avoda. That's our main purpose in avodat Hashem. That we should be cleaving to Hashem. Sheyichta velachar sheyichta, Hashem is still giving us this spiritual thing, the ability to daven, and this is the blessing of Yitzchak. ויתן לך האלוקים. שאין כאשר יהודי אוחז במדרגות הקטנות. It's applied to us, applicable to us when we are in the lower level, in the surmera. So when we're in lower level, we need to keep ourselves really detaching from the bad thing, not to do sin and everything, right? That's the first thing. And that's the purpose of ויתן לך אלוקות, אלוקות אין במדרגות הגבוהות. Also when we are in a higher level, then we can actually start and do the good things. And this is our seder HaChaim. That's like the cycle of life, right? Cycle of life of a Jew. שתמיד נופל ושב ומתעלה, that we're always falling and then we're going higher, and we're falling like a round, right? Merry goes around. ויתן ויחזור ויתן אלוקותו, and Hashem will give us again the ability, but we need to do the first step. We need to daven. We should never think that, you know, whatever we did, it doesn't matter what a bad thing we did, Hashem will always there. It didn't change. And Hashem, the same way He gave before the sin, He will give us after the sin. And this is what Yitzchak was blessed Yaakov. The Torah is it's infinite, right? So this bracha are applicable to us as well, right? To us in all gashmiut. So we need to elevate, and we have a kavanah to Hashem, and that's why he said at the beginning, even if we remember that we're doing everything for Hashem, and later on we forget, right? We forget. But still, he said, still it was a good thing to do because we were the kavanah. Let me just finish here. Yeah, this is what he says exactly. And this bracha כוללת כל חיי יהודי שייתן לך אלוקותו. And this bracha that Yitzchak gave Yaakov were for all of us. And I had a Rav, I think the first Rav that I ever learned with the Gemara in Zichron Yaakov, he said something like, we're Balet Shuvah. And, you know, like Balet Shuvah, you're struggling with all the things that maybe FFB, right, from birth will never struggle with. So he said that our life is in the right path. And it should look like a healthy share, right, in the stock exchange. Healthy share is going up and then a little bit down. And then up again, a little bit down. And then up again, a little bit down. So yeah, there are falls, but the trend is up. It's going up the whole time. It will never go up constantly. Sometimes a share, and that's a healthy share, it will go down a little bit, right? Whatever the reason is, and then we'll go up. But the trend for us is always to aim higher and higher. And that's in the right path. So I wish you all, you know, to all of us, that we will always be in the path going up, spiritual. And it's good to see you all. And a great Shabbat to all. Shabbat Shalom.